All right, have and have not fans, happy November. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is my first video this month. Hope everyone had a great Halloween and yeah, it was a pretty relaxing weekend here. I did a few things that I never really thought I'd do. For one, Friday night on Liberty's campus at the Vine Center, there was a comedy show. John Christ, a Christian comedian, I believe. He does YouTube videos and now he's on tour and he has a Netflix special coming out later this month. But I'll talk more about the stuff I did over the weekend towards the end of the video. I know you came here for have and have nots. Like, Jeremy, you haven't posted in like for 3 days or whatever. So here we go. This video is going to be about Celine. Basically, I figured after coming off of a brief hiatus, the first video I should do should be have and have not inspired. And going back to the video, which is now past 40,000 views. Thank you all so much. The teaser breakdown I did for the trailer we got a couple weeks ago promoting the show coming back January 7th. And on Thursday, November 7th, that marks 2 months until the show returns. Maybe I'll do a cool video then. We'll just have to wait and see. But for this video, I'm just going to talk about Celine in general. I think the title of this might be some along the lines of, is Celine a millionaire? Is Celine a secret millionaire? Whatever the situation is, because in the trailer, we get a blink and you miss moment of Celine in what's looking to be the hospital due to the fact that she's wearing like a hospital uniform. We see like a name tag, on clipped to like her neck area of her uniform. And we see that it's a bit blurry, but because the camera isn't focusing on the background, but that's clearly Madison standing in the background. And given the person who has their back turned to the camera, we can kind of see the coat they're wearing as well as the hairstyle. I think it is safe to say that Celine has, encountered Veronica at the hospital. And in the trailer breakdown, I go into detail about how what is she doing there at the hospital when she has a lot of money that Jim has been paying over her years as service as a maid, which we know she was fired back in season 2. And don't worry, I'm going to go into extensive detail on that a little later in the video. Now, this video isn't about the whole why is she working in the hospital. Remember, in the trailer breakdown, I went over details, but there were a couple of people who commented money amounts, because I remember in that video saying that, yeah, I forgot how much Jim was paying her in child support for both Carlos and Little Jim, or James, who I believe they call Little Jim. Basically, while she was working for the Criers, Jim and Celine had an affair, and they had a first son named Carlos, who is around the same age as Wyatt. And then they have a second son together named James, or they call him Little Jim or Jimmy, whatever the situation is. And going to season 2, episode 7, or episode 43 in terms of the overall series, April 7th, 1979. This is the episode not too long after, the Amanda death, and, the police are investigating the house, trying to figure out, what was the cause of it, homicide versus suicide. And during this, Jim had just gotten released by Warlock and Candace after she, took the $7.4 million. And he gets back home, found out the news about his daughter, and everybody's in the living room because they have to stay there while the investigation takes place. So it's Hannah, Celine, the Criers, and the Harringtons. They're all together. But Celine is making a spectacle of herself, and, Catherine goes into detail about their arrangement. Basically, they pay her hush money, basically to say, I guess the hush money and the child support are the same thing. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Basically, she gets money in order to keep quiet about the children that she has with Jim, because leading up to this episode, remember season 2, episode 7, there have been a couple of times where, Catherine or Jim, specifically Catherine, had threatened to fire her or get rid of Celine, but she's like, you better watch it, Catherine, because with everything I know about the family, basically, if you fire me or do anything to me, I'm going to release all the skeletons in your closet. But then we kind of hopscotch to, actually, real quick, it was stated that the youngest son is 7 years old, and Carlos, the older son, is around, or basically the same age as Wyatt. Now, jumping over to episode 59, which is season 2, episode 23, entitled or Vetted, VETTED. We learned that, and if you want to know what this episode is about, it's pretty much the episode after Jim gets ousted on national TV, because this is when he's on the Diane Winchell talk show to officially announce that he's running for governor. This is after Amanda's death and funeral, so this is the first time he's publicly announcing that he's running for governor. But he pretty much gets sidelined when Carlos, Celine, and the youngest son are on the television screen together, and pretty much oust him for being a deadbeat father to his children that he had as an affair. And pretty much, Carlos is going on about him not supporting them and how they live on the lower, basically the, lower income side of town while he lives in a mansion and everything. And basically that ruins his image at the time anyway, because he does get back on stage at the end of the season when the chickens come home, I believe, in order to announce that he's still running for governor. But of course, Jennifer Salas and the rest, Veronica, David, Jim, and Catherine, right after he gets off stage. So the governor thing never happens. But why I brought up the episode was because some people were telling me in the comments, oh, Jeremy, they were paying her like $100,000 a month or $100,000 a year. I forgot what the comment said, but Jim Cryer verbally told Celine in the episode Vetted, and remember, this is episode 59, season 2, episode 23. He says that, why do you think I paid you $270,000 a year to be my maid? $270,000, despite the fact that it cost about $30,000 per year for an average maid salary. And I did the math, and $270,000 a year is around $22,500 a month. So basically, Celine was almost making in 1 month the annual salary of a basic maid, because again, Jim was like, it only costs about $30,000 for an average maid, $30,000 a year. And here I am basically paying you almost that per month. Now, I did do some research, and I don't believe that we've ever gotten an official age for Wyatt, but it's almost pretty safe to assume that Celine, Benny, Jeffrey, Amanda, and Wyatt are all kind of within the same age group. I would say early 20s. But there is like that one have not Wikipedia, which I remember. It's been a while, but I remember doing a video about the character ages, but I based it on that Wikipedia along with some solid facts that were mentioned in the actual show, because there are a handful of characters who have been their age has been revealed or hinted at. But with Wyatt, I don't know for sure. I mean, for him, I would have guessed he would be early 20s or possibly mid 20s. Like that Wikipedia put Amanda at 22, Carlos at 28. And I'm like, wait, what? But I would think that Wyatt would be around 24, 25 or something like that. So let's just do basic math here. So when it comes to the hush money, that's not child support. I mean, obviously the money is supposed to, actually be her maid's salary combined with the money to support their sons, along with the fact that, that money should keep them quiet and secure. So if we do simple math, 270,000 times, and keep in mind that they had the affair while Celine was working there. So Celine was their maid. Then eventually the affair came about. Then, of course, she most likely has been working with the Cryers for over 20 years. Let's just do the basic, child support math. Let's say it was 21 years total in terms of from the time she got pregnant to when Carlos was born. Let's just say by age 21 for Carlos, Celine would have gotten $5.6 million from Jim. $5.6 million. And remember, this is the $270,000 per year in terms of hush money. Now, given the fact that Jim said 270,000, I don't think that amount increased when the second son was born, just because by that point, if let's say Carlos was 25 years old and you subtract 7, that means he would have been around 18 when the little brother was born. So if you do 270,000 times 18, Celine at that point would have had $4.8 million. So I don't think Jim would have upped the hush money amount due to the fact that, by that point, Celine was almost sitting on $5 million. Now, the money aside, in terms of how much money that Celine would have had, because keep in mind, I did do the math further before I started the video. And if Carlos, going by that haves and have not Wikipedia, which is not official, but let's just say hypothetically, if Carlos was 28, then by that point in time, if the hush money kept up, then Jim would have paid Celine around $7.5 million total. So let's just say overall, at a bare minimum, and remember, I'm doing the bare minimum of if Carlos is at least 21, and of course it looks like he's about older than 21. Let's just say, for simplicity's sake, Carlos is 21, and it has been confirmed the youngest son is 7 years old. By that point in time, Celine would have around $5.6 million. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, Jeremy, if she has millions of dollars in hush money, why is she living in such a rundown part of town? And more importantly, why is she working at a hospital now? Very good questions. My theory is, and I mentioned this a couple of times in Celine videos, that it comes down to Celine believing that Jim would always leave his family and come back with her to be a father to the two sons. And going back to the episode of Vetted, Celine's like, why didn't you come back? Because Jim's explaining why, you know, what she did was wrong, going on national television, exposing him, and then basically making herself a spectacle, because there's going to be no man in this country that will want to have anything to do with her after basically seeing her ruin a man trying to run for governor. But basically, Celine's like, why didn't you come back? Why didn't you, you stop having sex with me, stop touching me? And Jim was like, I stopped touching you because you said you're going back to your husband. So Humberto, what was it? Humberto was the name of the husband that she mentioned back in a couple of episodes in season 1, but we've never seen him on screen. But we did have him officially mentioned in this episode, meaning that Celine does have a husband. It wasn't just some imaginary person, which begs the question, that her and the husband get a divorce? Why haven't we seen him? And also, if Celine was getting that much money a month in hush money, what did she do? I really feel like Celine probably has a bank account or something with all that money, because one can say that, oh, what if she just kept that money in a safe or something like that? That's a possibility, but I think the bank account would probably be the best, safest route, just like a hidden bank, like a bank account where the money's just been stockpiling there for 15, 20 plus years. And like I said earlier, she probably only took out the bare minimum in order to, pay bills and feed her children. But, that one episode where this was at the beginning of season, this was season 2. It was the episode after the cliffhanger where Amanda got shot, but Wyatt, found Jim's phone and got drunk and, passed out on the couch in Jim's study while he was reading through the text messages. Celine woke him up. Well, yeah, this was actually the next episode, my bad. So basically Celine wakes him up and, he makes the moves on her, but she pretty much, because he reveals that he knows about the children that she has with Jim. And Celine's like, unlike you, my son worked his way through college and everything and not being handed everything to him like you did. So basically, I feel like that confirms that Celine has millions that she's sitting on, money that she's never spent, because she always believed that Jim was going to come back to her and their children. So I think that her not spending the money would be her way of showing Jim that it was never about the money. So in my opinion, that money's still somewhere hidden that, nobody knows about. And she's probably working at the hospital just to have another job. But at the same time, I really hope that when Celine does come back in season 7, we get more intel about, the actual reason she has money that her kids don't know about, because she kept going on about, how they wanted Jim back and this and that. And she pretty much implied, and Carlos even said to Jim's face, he doesn't really care for him due to the fact that we waited for years for you to come back. But I think that Carlos would probably look at his mother a little differently if he knew about all the money that was being paid in hush money that she never spent. But then again, he would probably be mad at Jim as well for, oh, you paid my mother money to keep our existence a secret. Kind of like, it reminds me of the whole Grace and AJ thing, not wanting anyone to know about her son just yet. But then again, we do have the finale coming in a couple of days, so maybe that will be changed. So overall, is Celine a secret millionaire? Yeah, I think so. I really do want to get explanation as to why she's working at a hospital, given the fact that, Jim isn't paying her a dime now. He did say that he would get a lawyer to make sure that he will be paying her the least amount of child support that he could for their youngest son together, but there's never been follow-up on that. So maybe we'll find out within the first couple episodes of the season. Either way, it doesn't have to be rushed. I'm just happy to see Celine back, so maybe we'll get confirmation on several things. The money, what was she involved with Amanda's murder? I still think she was the one that did it. And Jim even told her in the episode Beat It that another reason that their arrangement kind of fizzled out is because Jim told her from the beginning of their affair that his wife and kids would come first. And since it's possible that Jim might be alive in his last living child with Catherine, and Catherine might be dead, would that mean that Celine would be open for him again? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Which also begs the question, I would really be interested to see if Carlos and the younger son and possibly Celine's maybe ex-husband now will make an appearance in the show. That'll be pretty interesting. But aside from that, I think that's pretty much all I have to say on the subject. I'm really interested to see if we're going to get a Celine and Hannah interaction. What's the interaction going to be like in the hospital? Will this be Veronica as she's leaving from Justin's room? Will this scene be a continuation of the same scene from the last episode, Show Not Tell, where, Veronica pretty much went off on Madison as soon as she left the room with Justin? Or maybe she goes back to the hospital. I don't know. I really don't know. Either way, we know those two will meet. And let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts. But overall, guys, thanks so much. Hopefully by the end of this upcoming week, we will have hit 95,000 subscribers. And once we hit 95, I'll be doing another DVD giveaway. I think I have about 8 to 10 Tyler Perry DVDs because I found them in the the 374 bin. Of course, it's pretty much the same format where each DVD has about either 3 movies or 3 Tyler Perry plays. And yeah, we are on our way to 100,000. So hopefully by the end of this month we'll be at around maybe 98, 97,000 and hit a 100,000 before Christmas. And yeah, like I said, this past weekend, what was it, Friday, me and a friend went to John Chris. That was awesome. Then yesterday we went out to browse around a couple stores. What was it, Hobby Lobby? And we went to a Japanese place in town I haven't been to in 2013 called Osaka's. And yeah, it was just pretty cool to actually get out for a change and have some fun. And a couple of people over the weekend have sent me some donations on PayPal, and I can't thank you enough for that. And in the comments of one of my other videos, someone asked me for my Cash App info, so I'll put it on screen now. And if you want to just pause the video here, look me up, that's my Cash App. PayPal, there is a link in the description below, and like I always say, it's not required. I mean, at the very least, you watching this video, giving this video a thumbs up, and commenting and sharing, that really does help the YouTube algorithm. Lord knows October was thankfully a good month in terms of ad revenue, so Black Friday will actually happen for me this year. And the fact that we're getting closer to 100,000 is great, because once we hit 100,000, the channel will be bumped up from I believe, what is it, bronze level to silver, which is the highest level for YouTubers. Pretty much once you hit like 100,001 subscribers, it's a new ball game. You get more exposure, and to hit that number before the haves and the have-nots returns will be magnificent, because that means 2020 will be starting off on the right foot. More views, more likes, more subscribers, more money, so I can pay bills and Sally Mae will stop calling me. So I just can't thank you all enough for that. Going back to last week, had a great time live tweeting with everyone on Twitter for the Oval Sisters, and I plan to do the same thing again this week. I do have a couple of videos just to, let me just read over my little list here of videos that I haven't done yet. But pretty much a video going over the own Christmas movies that'll be coming out this year. They released a preview for that. I can't lie, I did watch a couple of Hallmark Christmas films. My friend was over. Then I have a couple of, I want to say about 3 to 5 have and have not videos that I'll be doing, but kind of spreading them out. Let's see, maybe like a John Witherspoon video, just talking about some of my favorite moments with him, with him as in watching him growing up. I got a Sisters video, an Oval video to do. I haven't done preview videos, but I just have videos to do about the overall, show, upcoming theories about the show. And Yeah, that's about it. But that's good though. I just feel like Greenleaf with its finale, season finale. What either way, it's the finale of 2019 coming on this Tuesday. I hope that goes well. Just the fact that the preview video is over 16,000 views says a lot. So I love the fact you all love the Greenleaf videos. And just once again, thanks for supporting the channel and everything I do. Links to my social media are in the description below. And yeah, if you want to cash at me or donate some to PayPal, that would be awesome. Not a requirement, but if you can't give financially, completely understandable. The holiday seasons are coming up, and you know, if you could just share this video around and hit that thumbs up button, it really does help. And the fact that we are about a little over 5,000 subscribers away from 100,000, I mean, if this video gets over 5,000 views, then for each one of you watching, if you could please get one person you know to subscribe, we'll hit 100,000 before the end of the month. You never know. Hey. Ambitions comes back on the 12th. The Oval and Sisters will still be coming on. And for all we know, and I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on this, but for all we know, we might get a, you know, the 1 minute have and have not trailer. You know, that would be pretty much messed up if Tyler Perry did that or OWN does that right when Ambitions comes back on the November the 12th. So basically in like a little over a week, if Ambitions comes back on and either right before or during the episode, they release that haves and have not trailer. So the hype will be real. So Ambitions who? More like the haves and the have not. So yeah, there we go. And also, like I said earlier, I do live tweet. Twitter is down there. So if you haven't followed me on Twitter, go ahead and do so. And in terms of the DVD giveaway, once we hit 95,000, follow me on Instagram because I do my giveaways done there. It's a lot faster. So yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on Celine being a secret millionaire, which is interesting because when you think about it, I did that video that did pretty well a few weeks ago about will Hannah become a millionaire in season 7, you know, based off the fact that Catherine, last time we checked, when she confirmed with Hannah that she has her down for $5 million in her will. I wonder if that's a situation where, let's say hypothetically now, let's say if Catherine died and Hannah gets left $5 million. But let's be honest here, given the events that have taken place between the time where Catherine gave Hannah that intel, she possibly updated the will to leave Hannah even more. That is a extreme possibility. But then she also didn't care if Hannah kept the $8 million, or basically she didn't care if Hannah kept the Wyatt's inheritance, which was essentially about almost close to $9 million. So imagine if she just kept that money along with the supposed, and I say supposed because Catherine may have changed it, the supposed $5 million. You know, let me just say the Young family or Hannah would have about what, 13, 14 million dollars. And you know that Celine would go off about that. So let's just say hypothetically, if the Criers died and Celine showed up at the reading of the will, you know, Catherine would probably, well, the lawyer would see Hannah in the will and want her to show up. So can you imagine if Hannah's in the room, then Celine comes in, and Celine thinking that she's going to get stuff from Jim because of their sons. And it was pretty much said time and time again that, you know, Catherine isn't leaving Jim a dime and Jim has no money without Catherine, which I still think doesn't make sense because what was it? Catherine gave Jim, what was it, like $10 million or so? This was like season 5, I want to say, back when she was trying to divorce Jim, but then after not wanting to go to jail, calls off the divorce, deposits what, $10 million in Jim's bank account because she wiped his accounts clean when she announced the divorce. So because in episode 1 of season 5, Jim couldn't even afford to get a hotel room at the Artesian. So basically we fast forward towards the end of season 6 where Jim calls Lloyd, and again, I forgot the exact amounts. It's been quite a while since I did a video on this, but Jim barely has a few $1,000s in his bank account. I'm like, wait. Candace intercepted the transfer of Wyatt's inheritance. So Wyatt's inheritance wasn't involved in the money that was in Jim's account. So how does Jim barely have a few $1,000s in his bank account? Because he kept saying, I can't wait for the inheritance to hit my account, which, okay, that makes sense that he would want the money in his account. That way he can protect it. But that 8 point whatever million dollars from Wyatt's inheritance was not the $10 million that Catherine gave Jim. So that doesn't answer the question of where the money went. It's just, I don't know. So basically, if Jim only has like a few $1,000s in his account, Candace still has her hands on Wyatt's inheritance, and then Catherine, of course, has her money. If anything, if the Criers are dead and there is a reading of the will and Celine is there, Celine ain't getting squat, and then she'll probably just lose it when she finds out that Hannah was left millions of dollars. So that would be a pretty interesting send-off for the character, you know, not including the whole Amanda thing, which I still think she was the one that killed her. But overall, there we go. Let me know your thoughts, and this video went a lot longer than expected. But again, I was on hiatus briefly, so you get an extended video. And like I said before, feel free to donate. You don't have to, or just feel free to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all soon in the next video.